All right, today we're jumping into something that's totally shaking up the way people think about careers and retirement. It's a financial movement, a roadmap, really, for anyone who's ever thought there has to be another way, a way to get your time back and make work something you do, not something you have to do.
I mean, seriously, just pause and think about that for a second. What if a paycheck wasn't the thing tying you to a job you don't love? What if you and only you got to decide how you spend every single day? Well, that's the big, powerful idea right at the heart of this thing called the FIRE movement.
Okay, so what is it exactly? FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And at its core, it's a whole lifestyle choice. It's about saving and investing, and I mean aggressively, like 50, 60, even 70% of your income. The whole point is to build up a nest egg so big that you can just live off the growth from your investments. This makes your 9 to 5 job totally optional, and not in your 60s. We're talking maybe your 30s or 40s.
You see this code all over the online FIRE communities, and it really just boils it all down perfectly, doesn't it? The entire philosophy is built on this one simple idea. Make the gap between what you earn and what you spend as wide as humanly possible. And then you put that difference to work for you. So you're probably thinking, okay, how on earth is that even possible? It can sound like a strategy that's only for super high earners, but honestly, the whole thing is built on some surprisingly simple math. So let's get into it. Let's break down the numbers that could literally unlock your financial freedom.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with this one number, 25. This is kind of the magic number for the whole FIRE plan. It's the key that connects how you live today to the freedom you want tomorrow. But what does it actually mean? Well, it's called the Rule of 25. The goal is super straightforward. Save and invest until your portfolio, your whole collection of investments, is worth 25 times what you spend in a year. Once you hit that number, boom, you've reached a massive milestone on your journey to financial independence. And you can figure out your own FIRE number, like right now. It's easy. First, just figure out what you spend in a whole year. You know, rent, food, car, all of it. Got that number? Okay. Now just multiply it by 25. That final number? That's it. That's your target. That's the amount of money you need invested to be financially free. So why 25? What's so special about that number? Well, it's basically the flip side of another key idea, the 4% rule. This comes from some famous research that found you can safely pull out 4% of your portfolio in your first year of retirement and then adjust that amount for inflation every year after. If you do that, there's a really, really high chance your money will last for at least 30 years. So if you have $1 million saved, 4% is $40,000 a year. See? This rule is the engine that makes the whole thing go. Now, something that's really important to get is that FIRE isn't this rigid, one-size-fits-all plan, not at all. It's actually evolved into a bunch of different styles to fit different incomes, different lifestyles, and different goals. There's almost certainly a version of FIRE that could work for you. Let's look at the main flavors. First up is lean FIRE. This is for the minimalists out there, people who can live happily and frugally on, say, less than 40 grand a year. On the total opposite end, you've got fat FIRE. This is for the high-income earners who want to keep up a pretty luxurious lifestyle even after they stop working. Then there's barista FIRE, which is this cool hybrid approach. You leave your main career, but you still work part-time, maybe at a coffee shop, to cover some bills and get health insurance. And finally, there's coast FIRE. This is where you save like a maniac early on, and then once you hit a certain number, you just coast. You let compound interest do the heavy lifting to get you to a traditional retirement age without you having to save another dime. So just take a second here. Looking at those, does one of them kind of jump out at you? Does one sound like it could fit your life? Figuring out which path feels right is a huge first step in making this whole thing real for you. Okay, let's get to the most important part. How do you actually grow your money to hit that 25x target? Because let's be real, just stashing cash in a savings account is not going to cut it. The real magic, the real power comes from smart, strategic investing. The FIRE community basically has a go-to playbook, and it centers on 3 main things. First, and for most people, this is the big one, low-cost index funds and ETFs. The easiest way to think about these is like buying a single thing that gives you a tiny slice of hundreds or even thousands of companies all at once. It's instant diversification, and that low-cost part is crucial. It means you're not losing your money to high fees. A super common starting point for people is a total stock market index fund like VTSAXX, because it's just so simple. The other 2 pillars are stocks that pay you dividends and, of course, real estate that generates rental income. But honestly, for most people getting started, index funds are the foundation. And it's not just a hunch. This is the cornerstone strategy. Like the Boston Institute of Finance says, these low-cost funds are the weapons of choice. It's a way simpler approach. Instead of trying to be a genius and pick the next big stock, you're just betting on the entire market to grow over time. It's an effective, set it and mostly forget it kind of strategy. Now, here's a piece of the puzzle you absolutely cannot ignore: where you're doing your investing. You have to use tax-advantaged accounts like a 401k through your work or an IRA you open yourself. I mean, this is non-negotiable. These accounts give you huge tax breaks that basically act like a turbo booster for your savings. Your money will grow so much faster in these than it would in just a regular old brokerage account. And this chart shows you exactly why investing is the secret sauce. If you just save cash, you see that slow, flat, linear line. But when you invest, your money starts making its own money, and then that money starts making even more money. That's compounding. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, and it is the force of nature that creates that crazy exponential growth you need to make retiring decades early even possible. So let's wrap up with the ultimate goal here, because honestly, FIRE is about so much more than just a number in your bank account. It's about fundamentally rewiring your relationship with your time and with your work. There's a huge misconception about this whole movement. The retire early part grabs all the headlines, right? But it's the financial independence part that's the real treasure. It's all about getting to a point where work is a choice, not a chore. A lot of people who hit their FIRE number keep working, but they do it on their terms, on projects they're passionate about, for causes they believe in. And that kind of freedom, it just unlocks everything. It's the freedom to finally start that business you've been dreaming about, or to travel without having to worry about a return ticket. It's being able to volunteer your time, to focus on your health, or just to be there, truly present for your family and friends. It's about designing a life that's true to your values, not just your bottom line. So I'll leave you with this question. If you woke up tomorrow morning and you knew, for a fact, that all your bills were covered for the rest of your life, what would you do with your time? Your answer to that question? Well, that's the real why behind this whole FIRE movement.